It is always beautiful to be a part of you guys out there. Welcome back to another episode of the High School Hub under the Science Exploration Zambia, of course. I'm your host, Luwi and for today I am joined by Emmanuel. Emmanuel, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm good. Thank you. Okay, so for today, we're touching a topic that is quite interesting. We're looking at exam preparation. As so many of us are going back to school, we have exams coming up real fast. So, Emmanuel, for today, I want us to talk about exam preparation. Pretty much that, okay? So, we have subtopics I want us to look at as well,
Okay.
okay? We have time management, we have study skills, and we have exams themselves to talk about. So I want us to just build on time management, study skills, anxiety as well, and then we focus on exams. Okay, so let's
Okay.
start with it. Study skills, Emmanuel. As a medical student, what do you think you have to tell people out there? How should they study for their exams?
Um. Okay. What I've learned actually from my first year at medical medical campus is you have to know yourself and know what works for you specifically.
Good.
Like what works for you does not apply to someone else. You find that maybe your friend or your course mate is able to study for 4 hours straight and they'll understand what they're studying. But then if you try the same, you leave your study session blank and you can't understand anything. So if you get to understand what works for you, then I feel exams will actually be easy for you.
I love that. I love how you have explained that we're all different and we have different tips and now looking at exams as a whole, as students as a whole, what are some of the study tips that you think people should know out there? Anything?
Study tips. Okay, like I said initially, what works for me might not work for someone else, but
Yeah.
study tip for exam. So she advised me to do mostly, go through past papers a lot, try my best to do as much past papers as I can, and that really did help me during my exams because
Okay.
it gave me an incentive, an idea on how to answer questions. But I'd really advise going through past papers at a time when you're maybe a few months close to the exam, when you know you've at least accumulated enough
Okay.
knowledge so that you can, you know, properly go through a past paper and questions properly and how a lecturer or a marker would want you to answer the questions.
Nice. Thank you for that. So I want us to look at something called comfortability, if there's something like that. Okay. How people get comfortable during their studying, so to say. So I've come across people who don't mind studying in dirty environments, no offense, okay, but untidy environments. And there are people who I've come across that work well in very clean environments. Also, there's people who work in quiet environments and those who can deal or handle noisy environments. What do you have to say on this, Emmanuel?
Yeah, personally, I think I fall under the first category. It's not a good thing, but like during school,
Yeah.
I wouldn't really care about my environment. Like I would study in an environment that's really messy, and for me that works. That works. So
Okay.
it's but it's really good to find yourself in a space where you're comfortable when studying. It's good to be in a comfortable space when you're studying. If you're uncomfortable in studying, there's not really that much you would get.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Okay. Okay, so I just want to add on that. Those people out there, people listening to this podcast out there, or people who are not even listening to this podcast out there, um, those times when you are most alert, so to say. So this is what I have to say about that. Okay, the times when I am most alert are the times when I tend to do the so-called difficult or hard subjects or courses. Okay, and that time for me is after midnight. All right, so I love to get up after midnight and just get on my books. That time is when my mind is like, okay, Louis, I am understanding this concept. Like, yo, Louis, this was supposed to be something hard, but okay, I am understanding it. So guys out there, there's a time when you are most alert that you should learn to take advantage of that time. Okay, it's best that you go through concepts that you find quite challenging during the time, because your mind is like, I can do this, I can do this, I am awake, I am. And then there's times when you're not too alert, so to say, but you can still study. Those are the times when I do the mathematics or courses that have math in them, so to say, the calculations part for me. Okay, so that's like one study tip that I would love to share with you guys out there. So, Emmanuel, I want us to look at study groups. Yeah, what do you have to say about study groups? How effective are these? Should we engage in study groups? How much time should we give to study groups? What do you have to say about this?
Study groups, I'd say they are an essential part to one's growth academically because you get to share people's ideas. Because one thing I did notice when I went to school, right, is for the first half or first few months of my first semester, I tried to study on my own. But then when I actually got to study with friends, you'd find that there are certain concepts that they understood in a different way that makes it more clear to you than you actually did when you were going through a specific topic.
Yeah.
So study groups give you people's perspective on different topics on different subjects. So it's actually a good thing. But at the same time, personal study is actually very important as well. You should give yourself enough time, to grasp the concept, knowledge, or you're on your own, but give some time as well to study.
Okay, great.
That's what.
Thank you so much for that. So, I was talking to my cousin the other day, and she just wrote her grade 12. That was last year. She was explaining to me how it's kind of hard for groups, okay, in schools to have enough material, so to say. So, I
Yeah,
just feel like I should tell people out there about this. When you are part of a study group, it's not about one person contributing, okay?
yeah,
It's about all of you contributing, not
yeah.
just knowledge, but material as well. Okay,
True, true.
during my past my own. Okay, so I take note of those questions, and then I present those questions to my study group for help. Now remember, when you go to a study group for help, you're not telling them to do everything by themselves. No, you're asking them to explain concepts to you. You're asking them to explain questions to you and help you understand how to go about questions. Okay, so remember, in as much as you're getting out a lot of knowledge from a study group, you are also putting in. Okay, you're putting in
That's true.
something in
Yeah.
the study group. That's how you guys all build. Okay, so away from studies, Emmanuel, I want us to look at time management. Okay, what do you have to say about time management? What should we know about time management, Emmanuel?
Time management. I think it's something that helps us, organize your life properly.
Okay,
It reduces the stress of school because if you manage your time, you manage your affairs. So things are actually in order. They follow sequentially. You won't really get confused that much as compared to someone that doesn't really put their time in order and manage it. Yeah, that's what I could say.
okay, thank you. So remember, guys out there, people listening to this podcast, it's something interactive. Okay, so I'm not just entirely asking questions. No, I am also contributing where I feel something will help you guys out. Okay, so under time management as well, here's my contribution. What I love to do is to schedule my day. or my time, or to plan my day. Okay, so what am I doing and when am I doing it, so to say. Now I know it sounds like I'm a little robot or something, but I'm not a robot, okay? But I just want to plan my day and see how I should go about things, what I should do at this time and at that time, okay? So, under time management, there's things that you should cut off,
Yeah.
things that will disturb you, things that are not important. Social media, for example, if you're not studying or any social media platforms, cut it out for some time, okay? Um, if it's friends or if it's people who waste your time and you're approaching exams, it is good and advisable to cut off all that stuff just for
Cut
some
them
time.
off. Cut
So
them off.
remember, if you can sacrifice this time just to ace those exams, then guys, you are good to go. Go ahead and sacrifice as much as you can, okay? And just get into your exam mode, ready for it, okay? So last thing we want to look at is exams. Yeah, the big deal.
Big deal.
Again, I want you to first of all talk about exams, how to prepare for exams, what we should do during exams, and I will finish up. So you can take the floor, Emmanuel.
Well, for this one, I'm going to take leaf from what a friend of mine actually told me before my exam.
Okay.
So this person, she just told me to, relax, just chill, take your time, don't panic too much,
Okay.
because when you put yourself in a spot or a position where you're panicking, you feel like you don't really know anything when you actually do know some things, and then what you do know, just like for some reason, leaves your mind. You actually do fail. But if you're in a space where you're confident, I studied, and
Mm-hmm.
if what I didn't study doesn't come, then and that's it. But if what I studied does come, I'm going to kill it, man. So yeah, just relax, guys. When it's time for exams, approach them like any student who's been working hard, who's been trusting God for their success would. That's all I'd say.
Okay, thank you for that. So under exams, I came up with something called a revision plan. Now, I planned my weeks, or rather my month before my exams, okay? And under my revision plan, I outlined what I will be doing, what courses I will be studying, how I will be studying them, my revision plan as well. I outlined all this under, sorry, under my revision plan. I outlined all this. Oh, guys, Chizungu. Yeah. So what am I saying? Under my revision plan, I had days, and every day had a target. Okay. So every day had a course that I should look at. And at the end of the day, I will tick to see how far and how much I have achieved. And guys, trust me, this really helped me. I set this for like 2 weeks actually before my exams. So I was pretty much revising. So guys, remember that during your exams, you're not studying something new or something different, okay? You are studying something that you have been looking at for quite some time, so it should not be hard. It's revision, nothing scary, nothing new, okay? So again, under my revision plan, apart from the days, apart from the courses that I'm taking, I set up my exam targets, okay? What I want to achieve at the end of the day, how much, how many, what I want to achieve at the end of the day. And I followed these through each and every day. And guess what, guys? I aced my exams because I was consistent and I was serious with this. So I just want to advise you guys out there that you can set a revision plan, okay? You see what subject, what course you're going to touch every day, how much time you're giving to the course, what questions you're asking people, what questions you're asking yourself, okay, what past papers you are using. All that really helped me, and I feel it can help you guys out too. So last thing we want to look at is anxiety. So we've looked at study skills, study tips, we've looked at time management, exams. Now there's something called anxiety that's still tagging along. Emmanuel, what do you have to say about anxiety,
Exam
exam anxiety?
anxiety, fear of failure, something that does
Yeah.
overcome. It overcomes all of us. I think it overcomes even the best of the best. people who you see like they have it all together, even them, they have exam anxiety. But
Yep. Yep.
uh, I'll add a spiritual side to it because I'm Christian and know that.
Okay.
The best for me I'd say is just give your exams to God. That's the first thing I would say. Trust Him that He will help you. And then secondly, with exam anxiety, like earlier said, if you've been studying, guys, you've been revising well enough. Just take your time, relax, and believe that what you've done is enough.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. And for those who have not been studying before the exams, well, guys, yeah,
Yeah, guys. Yeah. Just
yeah,
you know,
just yeah,
Jehovah
just
Himself
get
knows.
your hands, get yeah, get your hands on your books and on your points and what you can cover and yeah. So, guys, it has been
Hopefully.
great to be with you today. It was beautiful to have you guys along with us on this podcast. We are glad that we shared this, and we hope you have learned one thing or two. Remember, if you have any questions, please leave a comment. Let us know. Let us know what you want to say. Interact with us, and yeah, let's get talking. It is bye bye from us.
Hi, guys. Bye.
Bye.